Alright, so we are now starting with biology. Okay, bio means life. Okay, so we are talking about life. So study of life. Okay, logy means study. So study of life, living things. Okay, so in all the world, the universe, this is the earth, the surface of the earth. So the surface of the earth, we have trees here, we have human beings, we have stone. Okay, so trees and human beings are living. They are living things. Okay, they do a lot of life processes. But stone, there's no life in it. Okay, so this is non-living. This is stone. Non-living thing. Okay, so we have a lot of things that are a lot of things are living. A lot of things are. So our dog or goat is also here. Right, we have our ants here. We have our mushroom. Mushroom is here. Mushroom. Okay. Then we have those that we can see. Small that we can see. These ones are very small. We call them microorganisms. Okay. You can't see micro is very, very small. We can't see. We have to use the microscope. So we need a microscope. Okay. To see that. Microscope. Before we can see these small ones. So we put them on a glass, something small, square glass, then we put it on before we use maybe hand lens. Okay, the hand lens is a glass, this thing. It can enlarge this one to make it big, then it will appear like this. Okay, so this the glass or the hand lens. Okay, and this one is our microscope. Forgive me, my sketch of the microscope is not good, but you can look at the picture and then so this is it. So we need when we need the microscope to see you, then we say you are a microorganism. You can't see with our eyes. You can't see with our naked eyes. Eyes without spectacles is naked eyes. You can't see unless we look at it with a microscope. Okay, or with a hand lens. Okay, the hand lens. Okay, and this. So first of all, when we talk about things, we have living things and non-living things. Okay, the living things you can have for human beings, dogs, trees, mushroom. Okay, small organisms that we can't see. Okay, we have some like green things that we may see in our bathrooms. Okay, and so there, so we have something called a protozoa. Okay. Protoptista. Right. So this is the picture. So you can look at it. And so this is our earth, the earth surface. The earth is round. Maybe the sun is somewhere here, shining. Okay, radiating. Okay. Light is coming. The light is coming to us. Right. So this is a simple diagram for the introduction. So this is the introduction to biology. So you can look at the. So how did we come on this earth? How did life begin? Maybe something very small and that started. It was non-living. Maybe it was non-living. We came together. Maybe coming together. Myself or something. These are questions. Okay? Myself. To something maybe like a cell. So let me, before we even come to a cell, let's go to something maybe here, somewhere around this, which is not a particle, a special particle. That special particle we call virus. Okay, it's not living, it's a particle. Okay, then maybe this one from here. Things may have gone on, and then we came to the first one that looked like a cell. First one that looked like a cell. The life starting. And one of these, the first one that looked like a cell is just this. The nucleus is not, there's no, they are just like that. This is where This is where the nucleus is the center of the cell. The center. This is the center. This is the outer wall. Okay, this can be bacteria. Then you can have another one where everything is in the material in has a wall. So this one can be animal, can be plant. Okay, so this one we say it is prokaryotes. Then these ones are eukaryotes. So for your spelling, the spelling U means true, and then pro means before. Okay, before becoming a true, and this is nucleus, referring to the nucleus. Okay, or nuclear material. Okay, so this just about when it is becoming a true nucleus. Okay, here it is a true nucleus. Okay, like that. We have fungi also there. So fungi, we have mushroom as an example. Mushroom. Okay. Let me draw it so that it's precise. So the mushroom is like that. Okay. Then we have another one we call the protopista. So here, some of them can move, some of them cannot move. Okay. Some move, some do not move. Some are one cell, some are many cells. Okay? So see that this one is like between these three, okay? It's the connection between these three. Protopista is like the connection between these three. And some of them look like animals, some of them look like plants, some of them look like fungi. So protopista, an example is the organism that causes malaria in us, Plasmodium. It's a very small organism. You can't see with our naked eye. We need a microscope to see it. Small them, it is a protopista. It can let us get what? Malaria. Or the Plasmodium falciparum. So you see that we have how many? Here we have 1, the living things proper. 2, we have 3, 4, and then we have 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 5 are called the 5 kingdoms. 5 kingdoms. Okay? The broad one before kingdom we call that domain, but we will not talk about that. Okay? So we have the 5 kingdoms. So look at the 5 kingdoms. So when I give you a living thing, then you look at where it will fit. Okay? If I give you goat, where will goat go? Goat is an animal, you put it here. If I give you tomatoes, plant, where will it go? To come here. If I give you mushroom, where will it go? To come here. Okay? So if I give you, look at something under the microscope and then you see it is moving. So that means it's going to go here. Right. Okay? So these are all living things. Except this one, the particle, which is virus. We also call it, because A means without. Eukaryote. Okay? So for spelling, those for spelling, please note. Eukaryote means A means without. It's a prefix, okay? Eukaryote. So that's how the whole thing is going. Right. Now all these living things, let's say this is us, our body like that, our legs. Now if we take our hand, small portion of our hand like this, and we cut it into pieces, we get a very small thing we call units, a small unit, the smallest unit. The smallest unit like this, and we call it cell. If you look at this small skin, our skin is small, we get this called small, the smallest unit, the smallest thing. The smallest, okay? The smallest unit, we call it cell. Okay? Then it has something in it. Okay, so this is the cell wall. Cell membrane. Plants too have the same thing. this plant, the tree. You also have something like that, okay? Okay, like this. Then the cell membrane is there. So this is the cell membrane, okay? But plant have above the cell membrane, they have what called cell wall. It's made up of cellulose, okay? Cellulose, which is a lot of sugar together. Okay? Then you have the nucleus. This is the nucleus. It's inside. You have other small things in there. We call organelles. And some of them we call mitochondria. Some we call ribosomes or endoplasmic reticulum apparatus. Ribosomes, perosomes, lysosomes. Okay, but this is the nucleus. Not the nucleus, not the cell membrane. This part where there's fluid around is because cytoplasm. Okay. So this also have a nucleus. It has cytoplasm. But this, because it is green, it has something in it green we call chloroplast. And this is for what? Photosynthesis. That is where food is made. Okay? Where the plant makes its food in the leaf. Okay? So in the leaf. Right. So this is a small thing that you can talk about, something like that. At this point it's okay. So when I say our skin is here, this is our skin. At it you see something small, we say cell. This is a cell. When the cells come together, cells coming together, call that tissue. And these tissues can also come together, so tissue, group of tissues. Okay. Then we call that organ. This organ, this organ, this organ can have one organ like that. Okay. Another organ. Together, say a system. They are forming a system. Okay, the organ system. Okay, then these systems will come together, form the organism. Like this is the human being. This is the organism. Okay, so T cells to tissues to organs coming together to form organ system. Systems, okay? And the systems coming together to form the organism. So it's like this C process. Okay? So you can let them sketch at the levels and then tell what it is. So this is our human being here now, is an organism. So this is human being. Human being is a living organism. Tree can also be there. It can also be tree itself. Okay. So this is tissue. So this tissue can be blood tissue. Okay. Blood tissue. Blood cells come together. Blood cells tissue. Let me say blood blue. As an example. Take our blood, a lot of cells coming together, okay? Okay, from the tissue, let's see, the white blood cells. So, or we can also see the epithelial tissue. The body like that. The first part, this is the outer part is called epithelium. Epithelium, okay? The inner part, this innermost part is called endothelium. It is depending on something, okay? That is not what you're going to look at today. So this epithelium is the outer part. You have a lot of things coming in the tissue, maybe fat, maybe you can have muscle. They are all under tissues, okay? In the organ, you can have the heart, our heart beating, okay? Our lungs breathing, okay? That's very And the breathing, the system. come to the system, we can have the cardiovascular system and the nervous system. Cardiovascular. So here we have the blood vessels, and then the hearts together, coming together. They are forming the system. Then the nervous system, we have brain, the spinal cord coming together, so forming the nervous system. Okay? So these are the things so you can sketch them. Sketch to demonstrate. Now let's look at the life processes. Now this cell that we have, after this, okay? So we have some organisms that are just one cell. Some are two cells, some are multiple cells. So one cell organism, you have 2 or 3 multicellular, and you have organism more the complex one that we have. Right, that one cell must, any living thing must do certain things, okay? What do? We eat, okay? So there's something called nutrition, we must get food. Okay? We also have alimentary system to digest, okay? Alimentary canal to digest. So to get our food, so they're all coming together at this one. Right. Now we can also breathe. We should breathe. Should be breathing, okay? That will come under respiration. Should be breathing. Okay? Now the bad products in us, we must get rid of them. Excretion. We must excrete them. Excretion. Get rid of them. Okay? Should be able to move. Okay, so movement. Movement. Either we move from one place to another, that is locomotion, or part of our body we move, that's movement. Okay? Right. So then we should have the ability to sense something. We should have sense organs. Sense, okay? We have the sense organs, okay? We have 5 sense organs. We have smell, taste, touch, here, okay? And you can see too, okay? So smelling, tasting, then sensation, sensing the touch, sensing touch, okay? Hearing, okay, and see, okay? So these are the verbs for, okay? The organs for them, the organ for smell is what? The nose. The organ for taste is what? The tongue. The organ for touch is the skin. You can touch as you can feel it. The organ for hear is the ear. The organ for seeing is the eyes. Okay? So we have 5 sense organs and then their functions. Okay? So that is how we can go. So these ones, when we are responding to our environment, we are detecting what is going on in our environment. We call that stimulus. They are what is helping us to, what is causing us to respond. It's called stimulus. Stimulus. Okay? If there are many stimuli. So for experimentally people, we note it. Right. So I think this should go for now. Then the last part is, if we live and we do not reproduce, if we live and we do not reproduce young ones, so we must produce young ones, okay? Young ones is, we call, producing young ones we call reproduction. If you don't do that, then life will end. So we need to reproduce. Okay? And then the last one that we also talk about, now you may be young, a very young person. As all these life processes going on, you'll be growing. Okay? You'll be growing. So living things will also grow. They will grow until they give birth and then die. So growth is also that. So what do you have? We have nutrition, we have breathing, which is respiration, we have excretion, we have movement, we have irritability, where we are able to sense something called that irritability. Okay? We respond to changes in our environment. Irritability, we have growth, and then we have what? Reproduction. Okay? So you can look at it. You can just go step by step. So if it is one cell organism, it will try to do all this. If it is two cell, more than one cell, multicellular, it will also try to do all this complex. Then where there is a lot of cells coming together, some of the cells will specialize for nutrition, some will specialize for breathing, some will specialize for excretion, some will specialize for, that means some will say, okay, let me only help the body to breathe like the lungs. Some say, okay, let me help the body to pump blood. Circulation, that is only that, okay? So that is part of the function. Now let me say, someone is okay, we will encourage what? Growth, then that's it, okay? Another part of the body will say, okay, we will help the body, the organism to detect changes in the environment. So for stimulate like the skin, okay? So, right. Now let's see. Okay. So classification. Said we have 5 kingdoms, okay? So we must note them. Prokaryotes, and the eukaryotes. The eukaryotes, we have what? Protista. So note the spellings. We have fungi, plants, we have animals, okay? Okay, so and the animals we have a lot of. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5. So note all this. Now the classification, check our book, okay? Check our biology for adults, okay? Or for older children, okay? You have the classification there. You note the spelling and then the groups, okay? So if I give you 2 elements and I ask you to group them, let's say this is an ant, this is chairman, this is goat, this is a dog, okay? If I ask you to group them, you see that you group them like that. This will be here. So these ones are different from you not put this one and this together. So ants and those things are going for maybe insects, and these ones are going for mammals, okay? So you do that grouping, so you can let them group them. You can let them group them. Look at the organisms and let them try to group them into similar, those with similar structures, let them group them, okay? That will be, of course, inculcating in them classification, right? So you can take some which are fungi, some which are plants, some which are animals, and then let them group them, sort them out, right? So the next thing is you can look at how organisms are evolving or making adaptations to changing to suit their environment. So we have the environment, and then what will make you able to. So in terms of environment, we have what? The land, we have what? The water bodies, okay? Okay, and then we have sea, fresh water. Then we have the brackish, okay? Brackish water, which is a mix of where the two are meeting. Then we have air, okay? Some who were able to live in air, and some too on trees, okay? So you look at the organism and then tell why they will be able to live in water. Why are fishes able to live in water? Fish. Fish. Why is it able to live in water? Okay? You can let them talk about some of the things that will make them be able to live in water. So they are fins to swim, okay? Right. Tail, right? Okay? So why they are able to, you can let them look at things and say, wow, the fish swim, how is it able to swim? Why won't human beings be able to live in water? But the fish is able to live, so those things, you see, let them mention some of the things they have. So we can draw them, then label the cat, draw a lizard, that's my simple sketch of lizard, okay? Okay? Right. And then let them sketch, okay? You can let them draw and label. So here, drawing and label, then talk about why they were able to live there. They were able to live in, why are birds able to fly? They have wings, okay? Why are fishes able to live in water? Because their lungs can take oxygen from the water. Okay? Human beings will live on land because air is there that we can breathe in easily. Okay? So that is it. Unlike when you bring the fish out of sea, why would it die? Because it's not supposed to live in open air that it be able to get the oxygen unless the water moves through its gills, okay, the gills. And the gills will tap the oxygen, okay. Oxygen is needed to release energy in us so that we can move, we can do everything. Oxygen, right? The same oxygen is also used for burning. When something is burning, it uses oxygen, okay. Just like when you're also breathing, you use oxygen. Talk about photosynthesis. Photosynthesis in plants, plants making their own food. They will use carbon dioxide, okay? They will use carbon dioxide. And then from the other component of water, so other things coming from the roots, put them together to form glucose. Then glucose will be put together like starch, and then that to be stored in the roots or be stored in the stem, be stored in the flower part to become fruits. So that is that. So that is evolving, how plants are evolving, or they are. And then the evolving is different from adaptation a little, but they evolve to be able to adapt. So they are changing over time. Over a long period of time, how people are able to change, okay, or how living things are able to change over a long period of time, so that they can live in their environment. Okay. So the sketching and then storytelling will help a lot in this case. Okay. So I think this is a good thing. I can talk briefly about this. So you can look at the whole universe, look at the continent. Look at the continent. So this is the whole Earth, Africa somewhere here. Okay. The Middle East, Asia, Japan somewhere here. The North Americans here, South Americans here, Europe here, Russia here. Okay. These areas are very cool. Okay, so we can note these areas are very cool. The poles. So this is the North Pole, this is the South Pole. Arctic and then Antarctica. So the equator. So here, and you can look at the animals that live here and then animals that live here. Some may be related. Australia is somewhere here. Australia is somewhere here. Animals living here. Assuming as if this were a whole, the land here were together, and then maybe after some time broke apart. That is why we have animals which may be similar. So that is what we are saying. It may not be true. Right. Okay. So that is trying to look at evolution and adaptation. So okay, so this is a good sketch. I think this will end our section here. We look at, I think we have exhausted all the things that we are supposed to, the topics. Of course, then the last thing to do is nomenclature. Look at naming of organisms. Okay, naming of organisms. Both the scientific and then the botanical names. Botanical names, okay. Look at them, okay, or also for the scientific names, okay. In the plant kingdom, it's botanical, okay. Then all the general terms for, sorry, not that way. So going for the two. Scientific name or the botanical names for plants, botanical name for plants, the scientific name for general naming, right? Usually in two forms. So because we name by two, we have a binary system. Binary means two naming system involving Latin and or the other Greek words. Okay. So the